Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MSC F1.
There in the 79 McLaren, the first car into the pit exit, and away he goes. And Phoenix Gray straight away retires from the session and leaves the session. In fact, I wonder what's going on there, folks. The championship leader pulling out very early. Well, Sponge, the first car out on track, he's brought with him Ryan and Smalley in close proximity, as the Williams of Liamski joins us out on track. So too now the Haas of Shane Bolan. Just see if I can get an invite away here. Try and get Chris back into the lobby. Phoenix Gray. Hopefully Chris can join us back in the session. Such a quick drive. It'd be such a shame if through a technical difficulty he is unable to join us. Meanwhile, out on track, Ryan has overtaken Welsh Sponge, and he is now the first car in queue. Only 6 cars out on track at the moment. Looking for any kind of information coming back, whether we will re-lobby or whether we'll just crack on as is, as Ryan backs out of it, coming out of the bus stop chicane, going for a second warm-up lap. That means that Welsh Sponge is the first car across the start-finish line as he makes his way through the La Source hairpin and down the hill. Adam's reckoning that there might just be a re-lobby, a re-rack as it were, for those of you who play pool. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge not necessarily thinking anything about that, carrying on his merry way down toward the first sector split. 31.220 for Welsh Sponge. Smalley though going faster on a 30.9. Phoenix Gray rejoining the session. Hopefully that retirement is only temporary, otherwise Phoenix Gray will be doing a last to wear challenge, as Welsh Sponge makes his way around what used to be turn 9, the unnamed turn 9, and now down in toward the fast left-hander turn 10 Pouon. We'll keep a tab on how everyone is going through their laps so far, as Welsh Sponge now makes his way through the Fania chicane. Then this brings us to Campus and Stavilo into the last sector of the lap. Welsh Sponge 1:14.666, Smalley 1:15.8, so 1.2 seconds there. Welsh Sponge has to the advantage of Smalley with this last sector of track to go. The high-speed run, as flat as you like on the run up the hill through Blanchimont. Then down into the bus stop chicane, where we saw a fantastic overtake last night from Cam McKenzie in the Mercedes. Double overtake up the inside. Welsh Sponge goes to the top on a 43.1. Smalley comes to the line now 45.0, so plenty of time lost there in the last 2 sectors for Smalley. But looking quick in a straight line today is that Haas car, and that can only be encouraging for him and his early race pace. We saw a spun Kick-Sauber there. That was Ryan having a spin out of La Source, as here's the other Kick-Sauber of Damir making his way through Pouon on an outlap. Crytek just starting a flying lap, so too is Daddy Cool. Daddy Cool on a set of medium tyres, going to be picking up a glorious slipstream from the Williams out in front. JK going up the hill. Many cars out on track through the first sector as Edvir goes to the top at 1:42.8. Sees him take provisional pole for the moment. Shane Bolan, the next car out on track on a flying lap, but looking like he's gone for a second warm-up run. So now who's going to be the next car to have a crack at a flying lap? It's going to be, I believe, the Ferrari of Ortron. No, correction. It's going to be someone who is now in the middle sector, the large gaggle of cars at the top of the hill there. as I say that, and a lobby reset gets called by Adams. And so we will wait, therefore, for the drivers to back out, and we'll do the exact same thing ourselves in just a couple of moments' time. As we may just see some drivers flying off into the barrier. Look to see who the as pretty much so, folks. Anything that happens now is off the record for the moment. I'm not going to stop the stream. We'll just hope that people recognise what is going on. Mackenzie's saying people will leave when I do. That's pretty bold of you to say, but let's have a look and see if that works. Adams retiring from the session. I'm going to leave it. Hopefully there'll be people getting the hint for the moment. Mackenzie, I'm backing you there, mate. Cam Mackenzie. Back to the lobby we go. Well, folks, here we are back in the F1 world. So I always get slightly self-conscious at this point showing this on the stream, because you can see I don't do much online racing. I much rather do career mode racing. Now, there was the rumour before Christmas that I and my Monday night counterpart Nathan, whether if we can try and do a career mode, a commentator's stream a driver's career mode. Those conversations haven't really happened since. But I'm still considering if I can find the time to do my own streamed driver career mode on my little wheel. I just glance over to my left there. What do we reckon, folks? How do we reckon F125 will compare to... Firstly, how do we reckon the F1 Live event will go in just over 6 weeks' time? The O2 Arena reveal of all 10 teams in one go. All 10 teams' liveries. And Cat Mackenzie there jumping in front of my next question of how do we reckon 25 will land? So just get a little bit of a break at the moment. There we go. There's a new lobby invite. That means we'll be back to racing in just a couple of moments. I has just been spammed with invites. Wowee. What engine, Cam Mackenzie, you seemingly know a fair amount on this. What engine is 24 run on? Because it's not something like Unreal, is it? Or do you mean kind of the handling engine and all of that jazz? Well, we're looking for a full lobby in a couple of months' time as we get back to it. I'd switch back straight away to my spectator. Ego Engine 4. Ah, fair enough. As I say, I'm assuming it's an in-house build. I wonder, though, whether... Because it's the same engine they've used for the last couple of games, isn't it? So I wonder whether, now that EA have bought them out, whether they'll switch to a EA-built game engine, such as what they use for something like FIFA, or I believe the new rugby title that EA are rumoured to be developing. Just as long as we don't go to the F1 Manager game engine, which I believe was done on Unreal, if memory serves correctly. Yes, Sponge, I've heard rumour that they might be. If not, I believe there is definitely a Rugby 25 in the works at the moment that's in a closed alpha. Yes, F1 Manager is getting discontinued. I quite enjoyed F1 Manager 23. I was waiting for F1 Manager 24 to come out on Game Pass, but it never did. So, for those of you who haven't put it together yet, I am a filthy Xbox gamer. Not proud of it, but there's the awful truth. As not sure who we're waiting. Well, we're not waiting for anyone now. We've got the full 20 back in the lobby. And that can only mean that it is quality time take two. While Sponge, you've got more hours on F1 Manager 24. Yikes. That is a sentence I never thought I'd hear a F1 gamer say. But I quite like some of the manager titles. Yeah, as I say, I quite liked F1 22 and Manager 22, 23. Oh no, Bamboo Sheet can get the hot chocky milk. That's alright. I've got a pint of Fanta sitting next to me because I had the cup of tea to see me through at the top of qualifying, and now I regret it because it's gonna be a long 2 hours here, folks. You see, well, Sponge, I agree with that. The orange juice with bits is just better. Unfortunately, I'm having to do with kind of the carton orange juice topped up with some lemonade to make it a little bit interesting. As here we go now, we've got another green light at the far end of the pit lane. And there'll be, as always, the obligatory moment while drivers equip their chosen loadouts. Now, times to look out for Welsh Sponge. Can he improve on that 43.1? Edveer on that 42.8, currently looking the best of anyone so far. Where can people go? As I can see, Phoenix Grey down this near end of the pit lane, wanting to get a banker lap in before he gets kicked from the lobby again. Touch wood that he doesn't. As in the far end of the lobby, though, there are some flying people on top of the bandstand at the moment. But it is Liam Ski, Newman Ryder and Welsh Sponge, the first three cars out on track, going up Eau Rouge and Radion. The Haas of Smalley then leading out the next plethora of cars. MJ Ryan, the Williams of Crytek, the Aston Martin of JK, and the Red Bull of Phoenix Grey. And Adams a little further behind make up that little posse. Then it's the other Red Bull. It's the Red Bull of Beaton that lead the next set. The two Mercedes, the second of the two Kick Saubers here, Damir, and the Haas of Shane Bolan. So far, most of the 20 cars out on track were missing. We've got just 2 or 3 left in the pit lane that aren't moving at the moment. yet just Ginaudi, Wes H and Daddy Cool. So the two Alpines leaving it a moment before heading out on track, and I say that, and Wes H, there he is, rounds that inside hairpin. So just the two Alpines deciding to stay in the garage in the first 2 minutes. All the others, 18 cars out on track, and it is a very busy Sector 2, Sector 3 at the moment. Say very busy, pretty much 15 cars in there, considering that it is only, it's a 7 kilometre track. It's the longest track on the F1 calendar. It can't be that bad, can it? As one of the two Alpines rolls down pit lane to start his outlap, just as Liam Ski in the Williams rounds La Source to start a flying lap, and in fact he'll pick up a glorious little slipstream here down the hill and up to Eau Rouge and Blanchimont from the Alpine of Daddy Cool. Excuse me a moment, as now there you see the first of the cars, Liam Ski on his run up the hill to the first sector split, 31.2 for Liam Ski. Moomin Rider don't get a sector split on, unfortunately. We will follow both cars as they make their way now through the middle sector, the turn 8 hairpin of Rivage Long downhill corner. Turn 9, the formerly no-name turn 9, then into turn 10 at Pouhon. Nice and flat and fast as Liam Ski again a little bit twitchy, a little bit of an oversteer going into the Fania chicane there. You see the back end step out. Liam Ski backing out of this lap a little bit, 16.2. Moomin Rider 1:14.3. Welsh Sponge, the car behind, gaining time on both those in front. So Welsh Sponge looking like he's looking the quickest at the moment as they now make their way around the hill of Blanchimont up toward the bus stop chicane. Liam Ski in the Williams, the first car in, the first car out, opens up the DRS and up to the line. Liam Ski 1:44.9 straight away. Moomin Rider 42.999. Welsh Sponge 42.717 completes their opening salvo at the moment, as here comes Phoenix Grey 42.677 goes to provisional pole. All of a sudden that lobby reset is looking mighty handy. JK's put in a 42.8, he's gone P3. Crytek 44.9, Smalley a 45.0 as Ginaudi is out on track as well. So all 20 cars out on track. I say that as Cam McKenzie heads to the pits, so too does Adams in the other McLaren, backing out of their laps at the moment. Damir 43.2 goes up to P5, 3/10 in front of Ishi Yabadabadabadi. Ed Veer 43.2, losing a little bit of time compared to the aborted qualifying run that he did. Shane Boland back in the pits as well. Ortron's crossed the line on 44.7, straight away beaten by Simon Levac on a 43.3. As that was Wes H there, putting in a banker lap of a 44.921 that sees him in P11. Splitting the two Williams at the moment is Wes H. As the next car to the line will be the Alpine of Ginaudi on a set of medium compound tyres. This is the end of his outlap. And there is the start of his flying lap now, up toward the La Source hairpin. And away he goes down the hill up to Eau Rouge and Blanchimont. And here come Adams and Cam McKenzie line astern, coming back out onto track as MJ Ryan crosses the line, 47.2, invalidated lap on a set of medium tyres and does a pirouette at La Source. Beaton only has the bus stop chicane to go to end his first flying run. His championship rival and teammate sits up there in P1 at the moment. What can he do from here as he rounds the bus stop chicane to the line? Beaton 42.8 gets himself into the 42s, just under 0.2 of a second behind his teammate. Red Bull, Aston Martin, Red Bull, the top four as it stands. Daddy Cool on his flying lap now. Set a 1:44.9, but was invalidated, so not their completed lap. Ginaldi, meanwhile, the last car looking to complete their first attempt at a flying lap, only has a couple of corners left to go as he plants the throttle of that Renault engine wide open on his run up to Blanchimont. You see the banking there that helps the car grip, and then into the bus stop chicane. Some weird camber, as always, is the bus stop chicane. Quite easy to lose the traction a little bit. Ginaldi crosses the line, slowest yet of anyone so far. The title that nobody wants, a 1:46.9, sees him go to P15. As both Cam Mackenzie and Adams start a new flying lap. Shane Boland's back out on track. Daddy Cool going slowly on his return to the pits after a failed flying run. Officially, MJ Ryan's last lap did count. It was a 52.3, but not at all representative as he winds up that kick Sauber to go again on this first opening run of his. As meanwhile, Phoenix Grey and the two Aston Martins back out on track. Moomin Rider 2, so is Damir in P7. So quick turnaround rate going there for the guys and girls in the garages. Of course, it being such a long track here at Spa-Francorchamps, such a long run time that you kind of do push. So you do have to push even on the in and the out laps to get 3 flying laps in, or 3 flying runs in here. As we look toward Cam Mackenzie and Adams making their way through Campus and Stavelo now. Adams on the run up out of Stavelo. Will be picking up a little bit of a tow from the Red Bull in front of Phoenix Grey. And then through the banked Blanchimont corner, turn 19. And into the bus stop chicane to end the flying lap here. Adams in the McLaren. Teammate sits P5. Closest to the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. McLaren, though, of Adams gets in the middle. Cam Mackenzie goes to the top of 42.6. Just 400ths clear of Phoenix Grey, but 2 very good lap times coming in there as Adams was able to almost perfectly split the 2 Aston Martins. MJ Ryan completed his second attempt at a flying lap, got in a 45.1. Ginaldi got in a 43.6. That saw him up to P12. Who was that just jumped up the order? It was Shane Boland setting a 44.0. P13 then for the Haas. With Ortron, Wes H, Krytek all on outlaps. Ryan now finally, I believe, coming to the end of his first flying run. We are just over 7.5 minutes left on the clock, and Daddy Cool, the last car yet to set a representative lap time, is out on track for his second attempt at a flying run. Meanwhile, we look toward Cam Mackenzie, who is on a push lap at the moment, coming toward the middle sector split, and is improving by 14 thousandths of a second so far. Welsh Sponge not improving on the middle sector. JK has bailed on this flying lap. That is the entry to the Fania chicane. As we cut to him, he might have enough fuel and battery now to go again, however. But can Phoenix Grey, the Flying Scotsman, the championship leader, can he reclaim? No, he cannot. He dives back to the pit lane, makes much less of a meal of it than he did last night on a aborted flying lap. Phoenix Grey just forgetting where to keep turning right and where to turn left to enter the pits. We've got a yellow flag down on the run into Blanchimont. That is because there Simon Levac has had an off on the exit of Stavelo. He's got it back underway, but we hope that there isn't any damage on that Ferrari and he can go for another flying lap. Most of the cars in the back half of the lap so far on track. There's who's on flying laps at the moment. Shane Boland is going again. Autron's on a push lap and found a little bit of time through the first sector. Wes H has found plenty of time on this lap, nearly 1.2 seconds of it for a 43.7. That sees him into P13, just in front of Shane Boland. Krytek on an invalidated lap there in the Williams. Who else is on a run? Beaton's on a run at the moment and has found just over a tenth in the first sector alone. Beaton trying to close the gap down to his Red Bull teammate. Edviz also on a push lap and has found some time. I say that and he backs out of the lap. As we look back to see Beaton now coming through. Beaton has backed out of this lap as well on the exit of Stavolo. So there we go. No one currently on a true push lap. As Movement Rider back out on track in the McLaren. Isha there in the Mercedes getting ready to go for a flying run. As here we see Krytek dialing up the Williams to go for one more. 44.9 is his current best lap so far. Needs to find about a second to propel himself into that true midfield fight. Smalley starting a flying lap as well, heading down out of La Source and up to Eau Rouge and Blanchimont. Smalley had a solid start to the first part of the season. Would dearly love to kick on, and for Smalley that means finding about a second and a half to see him onto the fringes of the points where we've so often have seen him through the season. Steady Cool comes to the end of an aborted run there. Edveer 2 back to the pit lane, so they'll be looking to get a new set of softs on for the last moments of the session. Isha in the Mercedes has found some time in the first sector of the lap as he makes his way down through the turn 8 hairpin. Autron backed out of this lap. Krytek has found a little bit of time through the middle sector, through the first sector. As he comes up to the middle sector split, Krytek finding just over a tenth of a second. That'd be enough to jump him in front of his Williams teammate Liam Ski. Smalley, meanwhile, is the car just behind Krytek and is on his run to complete the lap as well. Isha has invalidated his lap just as we cut to him there, running too wide out of campus into Stavolo, so this lap will count for nothing. He was going to improve by about 5.5, 6 tenths of a second. That could have seen him into the 142s, and he will be absolutely kicking himself with that one. Krytek 44.6 does jump in front of Liamski. Smalley only improved by 0.02 of a second and therefore remains P18. Ryan's on a new flying lap in the Kick Sauber. Everyone else is heading back out onto track except for this man here, Cam McKenzie, who's already on a flying lap with 2.5 minutes to go. But he's got Phoenix Grey, Welsh Sponge and Adams. Then that is Welsh Sponge going off into the barrier there, I thought, for half a second, but he was able to catch that tank slapper. These three cars less than a tenth and a half behind the Mercedes. All of them are quick. All of them have challenged for race wins throughout the season so far. JK Beaton 2 out on track. Moomin Rider on a push lap, finding 0.2 of a second at the moment as he makes the run out of Stavolo. And now in toward Blanchimont. Moomin Rider one good chicane away from getting himself comfortably into the front 3 rows of the grid. Now just needs to bury the throttle. And here we go, Moomin Rider to the line to complete a lap. 42.703, 14 thousandths of a second clear of Welsh Sponge, sees him up into P3. But we know that those drivers around him are looking to improve. Simon Levac is the only car that will not make the checkered flag to start one last flying lap, as that is the Kick Sauber of Ryan crosses the start finish line to go for one more. Next car will be Moomin Rider and the Aston Martin of Welsh Sponge. Behind them is the Haas of Smalley, who's going again, looking to improve on that 45.0. Then behind is the RB of Wes H. McLaren of Adams will be next, followed by the Mercedes of, I believe, Cam Mackenzie, coming to the end of a lap as Isha rounds the final corner to the line. Isha 43.0 goes up to P9. Cam Mackenzie, I don't know if he's got the charge to go for one more as he makes his way down the hill and back up the hill for one last flying run. Beaton starting a new flying lap now as well, as we look to try and find some semblance of order. The two Williams back in the pits. Edveer's on an outlap. We've got 15 seconds just about left on the clock. So, oh, Simon Levac is out. He was not going to get back to the start-finish straight, and he buries it into the wall. Damir goes for one more lap. Hortron will be the last car to cross the line, I believe. And indeed it is. He is, as the checkered flag now falls. So Moomin Rider returns to the pits. He is done on that 42.7. The next car is going to be Ryan coming up to the bus stop chicane, finding a little bit of time through the middle sector. Can he get himself off the mantle of slowest yet of anyone so far? Yes, he can. 44.0 gets himself up to P15. Smalley is not that far behind, but it's going to be Phoenix Grey, the next car to the line. Does improve to a 42.4. Welsh Sponge 14 thousandths of a second behind. Smalley, the next car to the line. What can Smalley do? Gets himself to P17 on a 44.2. Wes H then in the RB behind, 42.8. That sees him up to P6. Adams in the McLaren behind. Didn't get a great middle sector. Doesn't have a very good last sector, to be honest, either. Daddy Cool on an invalidated lap will not improve. Cam Mackenzie's returned to the pits. Isha will take the line, but out of pride. Beaton rounds the final corner now. Found a little bit of time through the middle sector. Beaton on the run to the line, 42.6. Drops Cam Mackenzie back to P3. The Alpine next of Ginaudi to the line. Improves to, but remains P13. The Aston Martin of JK has gone to the pits. Who then is left on track on a lap? Damir is on a lap, found 0.3 of a second through the middle sector. This to get himself into the top 10. Damir gets up to P7 with that lap. 6 thousandths of a second clear of Wes H. Edveer takes the flag but did not improve on that 42.8. That just leaves Ortron in the Ferrari. Can he jump back in front of Ginaudi? No, he can't. He can improve though and just secures that P14. So a dramatic end to qualifying here in the Ardennes Forest. Phoenix Grey leads Welsh Sponge by 14 thousandths of a second. Cam Mackenzie. Cam Mackenzie, I love you. Cam, mate, you know that I like you. Like, you always interact on the Twitch chat. But you come up with so many excuses at the end of every quali session. I'm not doubting you. I'm sure that your missus took your phone away from you and that ruined the 0.2 up that you were. That would have seen you get onto pole position. But you do it so often. Folks, qualifying is but a fraction, it's but the tip of the iceberg to what is to come. And when the top 12 are separated by less than 8.5 tenths of a second, I'm expecting this to be an absolutely cracking race. Race start is going to be at 21:48. Just over 3 minutes time. And that allows me to have a drink and blow my nose, because as you can hear, I have a cold. Why? It's winter in the UK. Of course I do. So will you excuse me all just a second? And I'll be back to give you the hype and the miniature jokey grid walk in just a couple of moments. Well, welcome to the grid at Spa-Francorchamps. Not many high-end celebrities making a walk out to deep dark South Belgium. However, alongside me, I do have a clip of Jenson Button back when he was awarded the most grid place drop penalties of any driver in F1. He's starting so far back, he might as well go to Monza, was the line from Martin Brundle. Thankfully, there was another set of lights halfway back on the grid that JB could see in the McLaren Honda on that occasion. Thankfully, no one has that as a grid drop today. Except maybe Cam Mackenzie's phone, judging by the message in the Twitch chat. Welsh Sponge saying that he ran out of ERS just on the line and lost about half a tenth of a second. That would have seen him onto pole position as well. So, two drivers in the top four mildly aggrieved about their qualifying lap. I just say very quickly, because I thought I saw that message come up. Teflonzo in the Twitch chat saying good evening to you, sir. Cam Mackenzie, you very much would like a race like last night, wouldn't you? Hopefully you're not either Jake the Lad or Mirko spearing off into the wall at the top of the Kemmel Straight. That was a very disappointing end to the race for both drivers who had a very good run of it. And of course, we hope to see, whilst it would be very funny, we hope to see no one replicate what Phoenix Gray did during qualifying yesterday on his way into the pits. Completely forgot the way to take the pit entry and just speared off into the barrier. Had this been real life, that would have been quite an expensive rebuild for the team of the car that he was driving that day or last night. As we wait for just a couple more moments, the clock is striking down now to the scheduled start time. Can I just say very quickly, because it has just flashed across my social media page, happy birthday to Lewis Hamilton. Of course, no need to explain who he is or why he deserves such reverence and such a shout out, but happy birthday to him. I can admit I may not be the biggest Hamilton fan, but I do respect what he has done for this motorsport and the world alongside this motorsport. But anyway, that's real life. This is fiction. This is MSC F1 Season 5. And these are the tyre choices of everyone. Phoenix Gray, Welsh Sponge, Beaton, Cam Mackenzie, and the two McLarens, Moomin Rider and Adams, the front three rows, are all starting on a set of medium tyres. Daymere is the only car in the top 10 to start on a set of softs, going for the alternate strategy there. Wes H, JK, Edfir, and Isha Yabadabad. So close, I will get it. Isha Yabadabad. There we go. Starting on a set of mediums, down to P11. Simon Levac and Ginaldi, the split row 5-6, row 6-7 I should say, starting for a set of softs. Ortron going for a set of mediums, making it split strategy for the Ferrari outfit. MJ Ryan in the Kick Sauber going for a set of mediums. Both Haas cars will start on a set of the white stripe hard compound tyres, and then split strategies back in the Williams garage. Crytek for mediums, Liamski for softs. Daddy Cool rounds off the field on a set of medium compound tyres. And we know from last night that the drivers can do a one-stop. They can go medium to soft. We saw Cam Mackenzie do it last night. Can he be brave and bold enough to try it again? Look after the medium tyres to about lap 25, 26 or so. Strap on a set of softs and chase down any and all that may or may not have undercut you as they round the last bus stop chicane and the grid gets ready to reform. It's an all McLaren row 3, but it's a Red Bull on that front row spot, as we've seen so many times in season 5 so far. No one going for a much erratic parking in their grid spots today. The last cars round the final corners now. And we wait for Daddy Cool and Liamski to take their spots. And then the 5 illuminated red lights. And it's hold, and we're go in 2025 for the Club Sport division. And it was a jump start from Damir, but he's made great use of it. He's already challenging, beaten around the outside of La Source. Welsh Sponge going to try and hang around the outside of La Source of Phoenix Gray. He might just get the drive here that he needs down the hill toward Eau Rouge and Radion Adams, and moving rider swap positions. Welsh Sponge on the inside. Phoenix Gray going to try and hold it along around the outside. Thinks better of it. Tucks back into the slipstream. Going wide there was the Red Bull of Beaton as they now make their way down the Kemmel Straight. Here comes Cam Mackenzie. 2 wheels onto the grass there. It's 3 wide as they come down the hill toward Lake Holm. And it's Welsh Sponge leading the way. The 2 Red Bulls and the Mercedes go 3 wide. Beaton's going to make a move on Cam Mackenzie and Phoenix Gray. Moving rider gets back in front of Adams. JK's in 7th. Wes H is 8th. Dame's given back all the places that he jumped back to P9. Simon LaFax made a good start. He's up to P10. Dispatching there of Damir, who ran out wide. Edveers dropped to P11. So too Isha down to 12th. Chinaudi 13th. Ortron 14th. Shane Boland's made a decent start to 15th. MJ Ryan splitting the 2 Haas cars as running wide goes Phoenix Gray through Pouon, and he's into the barrier there. We're trying to find him again. Once more straight on at Pouon. Not sure what's gone there for the Red Bull. That looks fairly terminal. He gets it back into reverse now. But that does look like he's just gone straight on into the barrier. And he's got some broken front wing there. What will he do from here? The championship leader has lost 20 seconds to everyone else. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge leads Beaton, Cam Mackenzie, Adams, Moomin Rider, JK, Wes H, Simon Levac, Edveer, Isha, Yabba Dabba Baddy with the RB there going up the inside. That was Edveer who went for the move. Got it a little bit crossed up. Into the pits straight away comes Damir to serve his drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Edveer, after that moment on the inside of the bus stop chicane, has dropped back down to last in the snake, of course. We've got Damir and Phoenix Gray still coming around the track to complete the first lap. Yellow flag in sector 1. That is for trying to find Daddy Cool, who's got it crossed up going through La Source. Damir back out onto track. Phoenix Gray into the pits for Red Bull. Beaten as Phoenix Gray hits his marks, takes the lead away from Welsh Sponge with the help of DRS at the top of the straight. But Phoenix Gray onto a set of softs and away he goes. This will be a 2-stopper then for Phoenix Gray. He will not get that set of softs to the end of the race. Can he though get them to about lap 20 for a set of the medium tyres as we follow Beaton now. His teammate who needs to make up some good ground here on his championship rival, and this is exactly what he needs to start his 2025 as he leads Welsh Sponge through the Fania chicane. Cam Mackenzie sitting right there as well. Then the 2 McLarens who've dropped back a little bit from the leading trio, but JK, Wes H, Simon Levac sitting there in that particular battle. Shane Boland's had an issue coming out of the Fania chicane, gets back underway though, but another car with a broken front wing having troubles in that part of the track. As we follow the leaders up toward the bus stop chicane. Shane Boland leaving the session, calls it quits after that incident at the exit of the Fania chicane. Cam Mackenzie going purple in the Mercedes. Welsh Sponge though having a look at the inside at La Source. This could put him now on the back foot against Cam Mackenzie behind as they make their way down to Eau Rouge and Radion, and Welsh Sponge went for the move there. That's put Beaton offline. Here comes Cam Mackenzie making an overtake halfway through one of the fastest corners in all of the world, gets the move done, and now Cam Mackenzie's trying to slipstream his way past Beaton with the help of Welsh Sponge. Beaton having none of it, reclaims the slipstream and reclaims P2. Simon Levac got in front of Wes H. There you see the end of the move, and Isha got in front of, Janaudi got in front of Isha there for what is now P9. As JK dispatches Movement Rider, who's up onto the curb on the inside at turn 8. And slings himself into the barrier. That's 3 cars now with damage in the first 3 laps. Simon Levac makes it 4 and retires from the session after lighting the rear tyres up and slewing back across the track at the exit at 9. The first car is done for the day. The second driver done for the day with Shane Boland, of course, backing out after his crash half a lap, and now a full lap ago as Welsh Sponge around Stavelot and begins the run back up towards the bus stop chicane. And you see behind the pack of sharks that awaits Welsh Sponge as they hit the top of the track. Shane Boland rejoining the session, so that just leaves us Simon Levac that has called it quits as the leaders into La Source once more. That beautiful crane arm camera angle, and now the run down the hill, and then straight away back up it. You can see Adams right in the wheel tracks there of Cam Mackenzie. He wants to get up into the leading duel, but Beaton though will be getting past Welsh Sponge very easily down the straight here. And Cam Mackenzie having a look around the outside. Welsh Sponge comes back up the inside of Beaton there. I'd have thought that move was long done, but no. Now they're wheel to wheel through the third part of the chicane. Now down the hill they come. Is Cam Mackenzie brave enough to go up the inside? No, but JK was brave enough to go up the inside of Adams there. Got it locked up on the brakes. Went into the side of Cam Mackenzie. That was very nearly 3 in the mount of the Grand Prix there, as Adams was lucky not to get collected on the outside. Welsh Sponge though already the second car with a 3-second time penalty. Edfear's already picked one up. Welsh Sponge makes it 2. As what other battles? The other battles on track. Ryan in front of Movement Rider and Ortron Krytek putting himself in front of Edfear as Movement Rider spins around once more, this time at the exit of campus, going into Stavelot, gets it, flick spin back round the right way, and away he goes. But this was what I was saying about Movement Rider. Very good 1-lap pace, but needs in 2025 to get better with his race pace. JK's had a spin somewhere in the bus stop chicane as Cam Mackenzie's got one up the inside of Beaton, and now on the run out of La Source. Cam Mackenzie has lost TRS range to Welsh Sponge. Can he gain it back by DRS detection zone? I don't think he did. So at the top of the hill now, is Cam Mackenzie close enough to fend off Beaton and Adams for P2 as they come through onto the Camel Straight? No, Cam Mackenzie was too far back, so here comes the Red Bull of Beaton now to the inside, takes P2 back from Cam Mackenzie, and the status quo is resumed once more. Movement Rider made it back into the pits for the McLaren. It's a set of the hard compound tyres and a new front wing, and away he goes. He will come out behind Shane Boland, but in front of this man here, Phoenix Gray, who goes back to the pits again with more front wing damage. Phoenix Gray, the championship leader, not having a great weekend at all, as the leaders make their way around turn 10 at Puan Daymir. The third car now with track extension. So there are the leaders out of the Fania chicane in toward campus. Here comes Stavolo. 4 leaders separated by a second and a half, just about. Phoenix Grey for information back out on track on a set of the medium compound tyres. Autron has lost a lot of time there on this lap. He's had an issue somewhere at the end of the middle section. You can see that he's missing both of his front wing end plates. And so he's back down to P14. Oh, the leaders, Cam McKenzie onto the grass once more, and there's the crash into the barrier, just like we saw with Mirko and Jake the Lad yesterday. Beaton and Cam McKenzie tried. Cam McKenzie with force with nowhere to go, 2 wheels onto the grass. I think kept all 4 inside the white line. Beaton tried to come across to try and get his way around Welsh Sponge. It wasn't there, and both now have front wing damage. And what can they do from here? Ginaldi has got in front of Wes H. He's now 2 seconds off the leading pack and is looking very quick in that Alpine on a set of soft compound tyres, however, whereas those in front are all on mediums. Meanwhile, now it's a straight duel between Adams and Welsh Sponge, as Beaton and Cam McKenzie make their way back to the pits. You can see where that damage is on the front wing of both cars. Cam McKenzie, though, might be missing some of that front wing. Not going to stop racing as he dances around the outside at Blanchimont and makes his way up to P3. Phoenix Grey retiring from the session in the pit lane. Beaton going into the pits as well, taking more of his front wing away. Ginaldi carries on. He's up to P4. Cam McKenzie, though, driving on despite that missing front wing end plate, feeling it's all right. Can he do what he did yesterday? Beaton in the pits, set of hards and a new front wing. Meanwhile, the leaders at the top of the hill, Welsh Sponge, Adams. Adams this time with the cleanest run on Welsh Sponge you could ever hope to see. And there you go, Adams for the first time today up into the lead of the race. Wes H has got back in front of Ginaldi. JK's getting in front of Isha down there in P6 as he makes his recovery drive after nearly going into the side of Adams and Cam McKenzie a couple of laps ago. Edvir's got back in front of Crytek. Smalley's got in front of Liamski as we look to that battle now. And Liamski there getting a little tag there from Smalley, but Smalley but both drivers able to keep it pointing in the right direction, and they're safely through to carry on their battle. Daddy calls up to P12 just by keeping his nose clean. There's a bit of a battle being formed here behind Shane Boland of those who have pitted early to repair damage. And Ryan, Autron and Movement Rider are all involved in that battle. Just a reminder that the championship leader, Phoenix Grey, has indeed retired now and is on the sideline. So this is perfect for anyone trying to close down that gap. A 30-point gap to his teammate, that nigh on a 100-point gap here to this man, Adams, as the leaders make their way once more up to the bus stop chicane. Up to La Source, Welsh Sponge sitting there in the Aston Martin, plotting, waiting for his next opportunity. JK's gone purple here as he got past Isha Yabba Dabba Baddy on this lap and looks to try and get inside the 1 second window of the battle for P4 between Wes H and Ginaldi. Liamski still sitting behind Smalley. Meanwhile, the leaders have made their way back to the top of the hill, and Adams has been overtaken here by Welsh Sponge, and back to P2 he goes. Wes H fending off Ginaldi. JK sitting behind Isha, who's sent one up the inside and got the move done on the brakes. Fair play to the replacement for Dan 94, who is now back up to P6. Liamski back in front of Smalley. That is for P10 as it stands. Shane Boland still leading Ryan, Movement Rider and Autron in the battle for 15th. Damir, the first car to receive 2 3-second time penalties, I believe, for track extension. It's been a hectic first 8 laps here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And now Moomin Rider and Ortron battling once more down there for P17. As I'm just trying to find anything from Phoenix Grey at the moment. No communications reporting what that issue might have been, as Welsh Sponge leads us onto lap 9 of 44. Cam Mackenzie sitting there, keeping good pace with the leaders, still only 2 seconds behind them, and not losing anything on this last lap, and keeping Wes H and Chinaldi and Isha and JK at just about 3 seconds behind him. So Cam Mackenzie looking alright here. Adams looking alright as he makes his way past Welsh Sponge back up into the lead. I get the sense these two are going to be DRS swapping for some time to come yet. No change there in the battle for P4. Yellow flag in Sector 1 for Daddy Cool, who has looped it and caused and got damage out of the source. He was sitting in P12 and gets back underway again in P14, losing out places to Damir and this man here, Beaton, who is on his recovery drive after that tangle with Cam Mackenzie a couple of laps ago. Cam Mackenzie there, just as I mentioned his name, picks up a 3-second time penalty as Ryan looks to shape up a move here on Bolan down the Kemmel Straight. Bolan covering the far left-hand side of the track as we look at it. Ryan takes the racing line and goes clean around the outside. He's up to P15. Moomin Rider still holding off for Ortron now for P17. One McLaren in the front of the field, the other at the back. No points so far for Ferrari, with one car out and the other car in 18th. As Adams makes his way into the bus stop chicane. And up and over the start-finish line, see us onto lap 10. Wes H sitting there in P4 has Chinaldi for close company. I wonder whether Chinaldi's tyres are beginning to feel a little bit second-hand, as there's a little bit of a gap beginning to form between himself and Wes H in 4th. As who was that who just picked up a penalty? Wasn't? Maybe it was a purple lap, I'm not sure. As Isha gets in front of Chinaldi there for P5. Mercedes driver been making good solid progress all through this race on those medium tyres. Daddy Cool into the pits for Alpine as Ryan, as Beaton has as Damir in his sights, looking for a move up to P12 with the help of DRS. Gaining, looking to the outside, getting squeezed just a little bit onto the grass, but Beaton confident enough to take the place away from Damir. He's up to P12. Next car up the road is Smalley. Just 3 seconds there as Damir picks up another 3-second time penalty, and it gets worse for the Kicks Sauber team as through goes Shane Bolan on Ryan for 14th. Daddy Cool back underway on a set of the hard compound tyres. 15.2 seconds off the back of Ortron. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge and Adams have put a second on Cam Mackenzie in the last few laps. That gap up to 4 seconds just about. But Wes H still 3 seconds behind Cam Mackenzie in a Mercedes sandwich as it stands. So make their way through the bus stop chicane once more. JK and Chinaldi swapping places. Chinaldi was challenging the front of this train not that long ago, has cycled his way to the back now, and I wonder if we're going to see, just like they do in IndyCar, and we're seeing with the leaders, whether they'll take turns out in front in the clear air. As through now goes Welsh Sponge into the lead, and Isha makes it two Mercedes cars in the top 4 as he gets past Wes H. Looking back, Damir into the pits for Kick Sauber. Off a set of soft compound tyres, on go the hards, and away he goes back out into the race. Coming out just behind Autron. It will be close, I reckon, on pit exit. But yes, Autron there on the racing line. And those warmed up tyres keeps P16. But now can Damir pick up a run with the help of DRS as Ryan gets back in front of Shane Boland here. Yes, Damir was close enough to help DRS close back down that gap to Autron. As the two leaders once more go through Blanchimont. On their run up to the bus stop chicane. Both cars on a set of medium compound tyres. I'll be interested to see which strategies the drivers go for as Cam Mackenzie dives to the pits. Not the strategy he pulled off last night, medium to soft. This will be for a set of hard compound tyres and a new front wing, I imagine, to get him to the end of the race. There you see it. New front wing and a set of the hards. Cam Mackenzie back out underway, looking to hopefully try and split the Williams will be his target as Adams retakes the lead from Welsh Sponge. Cam Mackenzie looking to hold on to P9. Where is Liam? There's Liamski behind his beaten, dispatching Smalley, and yes, Cam Mackenzie back out underway in front of the Williams quite comfortably, and 5 seconds clear of Beaton, the car who he made contact with. The leaders now with Cam Mackenzie going into the pits have another Mercedes behind them. It's the other Mercedes though of Isha, but they are 8 seconds up the road as these four cars as Chinaldi loses touch with them a little bit. Battling very hard with each other. What other battles going on? Liamski been caught by Beaton and now Smalley, who is right there. MJ Ryan has just lost out to Shane Boland down the Camel Straight as Beaton gets in front of Liamski for P10. As the leaders round the bus stop chicane onto lap 13 they take us. As in the background you see, in the background, Chinaldi diving to the pits off the set of softs. The tyre wear looking pretty high today in the Ardennes Forest as the Alpine of Chinaldi heads into the pits. It will be a set of medium tyres. He'll do well to get those to the end as Daddy Cool picks up a 3-second time penalty from P18. But back out onto track he comes. There is the Mercedes of Cam Mackenzie, who Chinaldi was behind a little way. Cam Mackenzie will do well here to sit behind and then pick up the slipstream and the DRS at the top of the straight. And here we go up through Eau Rouge and Radio. And you can see the confidence that the warm tyres gives Cam Mackenzie in another move by going offline through Eau Rouge. And Cam Mackenzie then up to P8 straight away. On those hard compound tyres, they will definitely get him to the end. I'll be impressed with Chinaldi, very impressed, if Chinaldi gets those mediums to the end as Smalley gets in front of Liamski for P11. Shane Boland, though, as one has rise, the other one falls as Ryan comes back past for P13 now. As the leaders making their way up through Blanchimont. And then into the bus stop chicane. Damir, another 3-second time penalty in the Kick Sauber. It's yellow flag in sector 2. That is for Autron, who's got it wrong out of the last part of the Lecom chicane. As through La Source, the leaders come now back down the hill. Wes H has got Isha there. It's three. It's not quite three wide as one of the cars is ghosting, but JK, Isha and Wes H racing very hard indeed. And now on the run downhill, not quite going for Alonso and Webber style overtake, but Wes H sitting behind, and now at the top of the hill he'll have DRS on JK, who got the move done maybe a little too early, as he loses one, potentially two spots here. No, Isha not close enough. Wes H locks up a little bit. That gives JK the racing line, but not quite the drive he needs to get back up into P3. So Ginaudi getting in front of both Cam Mackenzie and Krytek on the pit straight. Cam Mackenzie though goes deep into the braking zone of Lacombe. These two wheel to wheel now, back through the last part of the corner. Cam Mackenzie on the racing line, got a better drive, and now on the downhill run into Rivage, the long hairpin, it's Ginaudi with the inside. Cam Mackenzie not one to give it up though, has the inside at turn 9. These two wheel to wheel for a good few corners now, downhill into Pirwad. Surely Cam Mackenzie has got the upper hand here. He could just force Ginaudi out of road, and this might invite Krytek back into the scene. No, Krytek not quite with the run that he needs, and so Cam Mackenzie somehow holds in front of Ginaudi as the leaders make their way through the bus stop chicane to end lap 14. And Wes H has got JK very close for company as they hit the brakes into the bus stop chicane. Daddy Cool makes it 3 cars retired as Damir has an issue on the exit of Rivage. As we follow Wes H and JK once more through La Source. Isha dropping off a little bit from the two in front. That gap already over a second now. Cam Mackenzie with 13.5 seconds clear in front of him to Edvir. Welsh Sponge back in front of Adams there on the Camel straight. Here comes JK and Wes H, and once more that's a very easy DRS past yellow flag sector 2. That's for Damir once more, who's had a torrid time of it on his return to racing in 2025. This looks like a Kick Sauber that wants to retire from the session. As we look through the field, Cam Mackenzie able to hold off Ginaudi on the Camel straight, so he's still in P7 there on those hard compound tyres. As Ginaudi now picks up a 3-second time penalty for track extension. Lap 15 of 44 here. We're a third of the way through the race, and Damir does indeed retire from the session. I was going to say that didn't look like the body language of a car that was looking to go particularly quickly. Adams now half a second behind Welsh Sponge, but DRS helping him. Moomin Rider on his recovery drive has caught up to Ryan and Shane Bolan and got in front of Ryan, but it's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Yellow flag sector 1, that's for the retired Damir. Isha in the Mercedes has indeed dropped off the two in front of him now, almost back into the clutches of Edvir. He has fallen as Adams gets back in front of Welsh Sponge. JK and Wes H at the top of the hill make their way over the crest through the DRS detection zone. JK going defensive, trying to break the toe a little bit, but Wes H not close enough to look for a move. Ginaudi and Cam Mackenzie, 11.5 seconds now they are off the back of Edvir. 4 seconds to the good of Krytek, who has beaten. There is that pair just behind Cam Mackenzie and Ginaudi. No overtakes going there. Beaten though, will be overtaking Krytek, you're sure to believe it. Up the inside on the brakes. Beaten back up into the points, up to P9 in fact. Smalley is dropped Liamski a little bit, that gap at 1.3 seconds as Ryan and Moomin Rider swap places at the top of the hill, and Ryan up to P14 he goes. As we look back toward the leaders now, the good thing about this track is that the battles that carry on usually are the ones that last the race, and as the field begins to spread, We could just flick around and we've got the cars back toward the high drama parts of the track. And you carry on commentating, you carry on going, and just as Adams carries on leading the race at the moment, 17 laps in, 5/10 is the gap. And down the hill once more toward Eau Rouge and Radion. Past the endurance pit lane exit at the top of the hill. And with the help of DRS and deployment of the battery, Welsh Sponge swoops back into the lead. And now Wes H sitting behind Jonathan Corin. Gaining is Wes H. JK going defensive, reclaims the racing line. Wes H not close enough to look for a move. Stays in P4 as Edveer, his teammate, gets in front of Isha and is up to P5. And even worse news for the Mercedes team, Cam Mackenzie has picked up his second 3-second time penalty of the day. And Beaton is now 4.3 off the back of the battle in for P7. Smalley has put an extra 0.6 of a second on Liamski on this lap. And Shane Boland has Ryan and Moomin Rider for close company once more down the Camel Straight. Shane Boland to the inside. Ryan with DRS and the racing line looking to the outside. Shane having none of it, deep on the brakes. That's going to force Ryan offline. Here comes Moomin Rider now. Has got the inside line for the last part of the sequence. And Moomin Rider makes a good move of opportunity there. And he's up to P14. And he is now free to try and get in front of Shane Boland for 13th. And the leaders back out of the bus stop chicane onto lap 18 we go. And it's Welsh Sponge leading from Adams into La Source. And down past the endurance pit lane, the endurance car pit lane, which also serves as the pit lane for the kind of Formula 2 and the Formula 3 grid during the F1 race weekend here. F1 Academy, I believe, as well. As here comes Adams now down the main straight. Gennady and Cam Mackenzie swapping fastest laps. Adams back to the lead. Wes H has had an issue coming out of La Source. Looks like he might have a little bit of front wing damage there. We'll have a look as he comes through. No, it's not. He just had a half spin maybe. And he has lost out behind JK, Edveer and Isha. But is back underway, but just down in P6 now. Cam Mackenzie, though, getting overtaken by Gennady with the help of DRS. Gennady now up to P7, 3.5, just about off the back of Wes H. This pair have put a second on Beaton in the last lap alone, so it goes to show the pace that those two have. Meanwhile, Shane Boland has Moomin Rider and Ryan for company once more as they make their way to the top of the hill. Shane Boland looking very quick in a straight line. Not quite quick enough, though, to hold off Moomin Rider, who's gaining, looking to the outside later on the brakes. Goes offline, goes deep, just like we saw Ryan do a lap ago. This time, however, Ryan isn't close enough for that move of opportunity. And taking advantage of the offline McLaren. As Adams back out of the bus stop chicane onto lap 19 we go. Getting toward half race distance now. These medium tyres will be feeling a little bit second hand, and anyone who started on the set of softs, notably Liamski, those tyres will be pretty much crying out for help right about now as Wes H heads to the pits. Let's have a look to see if that is just tyres or if that is front wing as well. No, that is a retirement from Wes H as Gennady goes purple. 6.5 now off the back of Isha and Edveer. We've lost 5 now, we're down to 15 with the retirement of Wes H. And we follow Edveer and Isha up toward the Lacombe chicane. No overtakes happening there. Cam Mackenzie, though, has got back in front of Gennady with the help of DRS. And he is up to P6, 6.4 now off the back of his teammate. Beaton still 5.5 behind Krytek, sitting a fairly lonely P9 at the moment. 10 off Beaton in P8, 5.7 to the good of Smalley, who's dropped Liamski pretty quickly now has the Haas car. He's 4 seconds clear of the Williams, who's falling back into the clutches of this battle. Shane Boland, Moomin Rider and Ryan. That gap now only at 3 seconds. Liamski, of course, the only car still on the set of softs who is yet to make a pit stop. We lost Simon Levac on lap 2, Phoenix Gray on lap 3, Daddy Cool about 5 laps ago, Damir and Wes H fairly recently. Story of the Grand Prix, Damir jumping the start, handing the places back but causing all kinds of mayhem as the leaders through La Source once more. And run down the hill. Edvir into the pits for RB. This looks like this will be a stop for tyres only, as Cam Mackenzie now sets a new purple lap of 46.7. And Welsh Sponge back into the lead of the race. Edvir sticks on a set of the hard compound tyres. Back out onto track he rolls, looking to come out in P8. He'll be some 5 to 7 seconds off the back of Beaton, who is however on much older hard compound tyres. Liamski now inside, Shane Boland I should say, inside a second now of Liamski. He will have to go defensive, will the Williams, as they make their way down past the endurance pit straight. And at the top of the hill, Shane Boland now has his chance to make an overtake here, gaining with the help of DRS, not gaining enough though on the Williams to have a look into Les Combes. And the status quo carries on. Ryan has lost about a second or so to Moomin Rider in the last lap. Not sure what has gone on there, but that has brought an end to his involvement in that battle for the time being. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge and Adams lead us on to lap 21 of 44. Shane Boland dispatching of Liamski in Pouon, turn 10. Not a very common overtaking corner, but that's helped Moomin Rider get through for P12 as they make their way through the Fan chicane. I'm looking at that on the mini-map. As the leaders to the top of Eau Rouge and Radion they go. Adams already pulling out of the slipstream, getting through. That's just how powerful battery deployment and slipstream is. Adams to the lead of the Grand Prix. JK sits P3, a fairly lonely P3 at the moment, 14 off the lead, 7.5 clear of the two Mercedes. Isha leading Cam Mackenzie as it stands, and Cam Mackenzie here is inside DRS range, and I get the sense that this will be an open door from Isha. Maybe he'll try and get in front of Ginaudi in the Alpine. No, he can't quite do it. Ginaudi though, deep on the brakes, goes straight on. Isha gets his way back through and only loses one spot to his teammate, and this now will allow Cam Mackenzie to bolt a little bit and try and drive clear of Ginaudi. He doesn't want to be caught in that pit stop, in that battle for too long if he can avoid it. Liamski stays in front of MJ Ryan in the pit lane as they head back out onto the racing surface. Shane Boland's got back in front of Moomin Rider down the Kemmel Straight, and these two have come out just a little bit in front of Autron, which would make sense considering that the Ferrari was involved in their battle before he made his pit stop off, I believe, the soft compound tyres. Yellow flag in sector 2. That is for Moomin Rider, who again has had an issue at the turn 8 hairpin. He's got it back underway now, but this recovery drive that he is on has just taken another upward climb for him. Isha getting back in front of Ginaudi has given his teammate a good 2.5 seconds here. So now Isha dives to pit lane for the Mercedes team. And yeah, Cam Mackenzie 2.5 seconds clear now of the Alpine car. A set of hard compound tyres for Isha, and away he goes back out onto the track. Looking through, Welsh Bunge and Adams continue to change the lead once a lap, every lap, as Krytek into the pits for Williams. Yellow flag in sector 3, that is for Autron, who's had an issue somewhere in the exit of Stavelot. Back underway now though. Krytek into the pits, and that's a set of hards on that Williams. He's back out underway, coming out behind Moomin Rider and Shane Boland, but comfortably in front of Liam Ski on those medium compound tyres. Meanwhile, Isha is 9.5 off the back of Edveer. He was racing Edveer before the pit stops, but has only got a 2-second advantage. So, but we know that he was battling Cam and Gennady before his pit stop. The leaders have now completed half race distance. They are 15 seconds clear of Jonathan Corin, who has got the fast moving Cam McKenzie, now 4 seconds behind him. Leaders make their way up the hill. Adams and Welsh Bunge once more wheel to wheel in front of the fans on the Kemmel Straight banking, and all the orange fans getting what they want to see as the orange car takes the lead. Cam McKenzie up through Eau Rouge and ready on 4.2 off the back of JK. Ryan and Liam Ski are very close to each other, pretty much the only other fight on track happening that isn't the leaders, as they make their way up through Blanchimont toward the bus stop chicane. Wonder if Ryan's looking for a move here to the bus stop chicane. No, can't quite make the move up the inside. Has a look round the bus stop chicane, but no way past Williams there. But now down the pit straight with the help of DRS, looking to the inside at the source. Not often you see him overtake getting done there. Ryan getting it all locked up on the brakes, gets the move up the inside. You saw this back end stepping out on him, but MJ Ryan back up into P13 in front of Liam Ski. In fact, we'll follow that battle a little bit more as Liam Ski versus Ryan down the Kemmel Straight. Liam Ski with DRS getting past there up to P13. Adams and Welsh Bunge have taken us on to lap 24. Need probably another 3 or 4 laps yet before they can confidently make the stop onto soft compound tyres to get them to the end of the race. As Cam McKenzie now inside 3 seconds of Jonathan Corin. The penalty counts at the moment: 3 for Welsh Bunge, 6 for Cam, 3 for Gennady, 3 for Edveer and Smalley, and Moomin Rider and Autron, and Shane Boland has 9. Everyone else has no penalties to serve come the checkered flag. There you see the big moves and shakers in the Grand Prix, as we see a stationary Isha who has had a spin out of the bus stop chicane, has got it back underway now, but has fallen back almost into the clutches of the 2 Haskars behind. Big moves and shakers. Adams up 5, JK up 6, Gennady up 8. Up 8 as well is Smalley. Up 6 is Shane Boland. Up 6 is Krytek. Down 6 is Moomin Rider. Down 3 Beaton, and down 1 Autron. Oh, and in the background there, we were cut to them at the perfect time almost. Welsh Bunge getting it, getting the rear end very happy, coming out of campus into Stavelot, and into the barrier he goes, breaking off part of that front wing. It will be a few laps earlier than he would have liked, but we're going to be seeing Welsh Bunge into the pits at the end of this lap, I'm sure of it. We're seeing Adams into the pits as well. Isha picks up his first 3-second penalty of the day. Let's see what tyres McLaren want to put Adams onto. It's a set of the soft compound red wall tyres. Very nice stop there from the McLaren boys, and away he goes. JK into the box as well, so too Cam McKenzie. So all 4 of the leaders into the pits, and it's going to be a front wing change for Welsh Sponge. Aston Martin are double stacking. This could allow Cam Mackenzie to pick up the free spot. As back into the fast lane goes Welsh Sponge. Cam Mackenzie into the pits, wants a set of the soft compound tyres I think I saw on that Mercedes. Yes, I did. A set of softs on the Aston Martin as well. On both Aston Martins as well. Now this race just becomes very interesting indeed. Adams is home dry pretty much. He should very comfortably win this race. However, what will happen with the resurgent trio of Welsh Sponge, Cam Mackenzie and Jonathan Coyron? How far back up the order can they march? Welsh Sponge 2 seconds behind Ed Veer, who's 6 behind Beaton, who's 6 behind Ginaudi. That's quite a big task for them all to go. Shane Boland has made his pit stop and is back out onto track on a set of the medium compound tyres. Of course, both Haas cars started on the hards, and he's up to P13 and is splitting Liam Ski and Ryan as it stands. However, Liam Ski looking very racy since his pit stop. Can Ginaudi get to the end? He's put those medium tyres on very early. May see 12 laps to go. And can the hards of Beaton make it to the end as well? Shane Boland's connection drops out briefly there as he leaves the session. Can Ginaudi and Beaton get to the end on their respective tyres, or will they have to stop again? And what will that do to the race standings? Welsh Sponge now just inside a second of Ed Veer. Cam Mackenzie just about a second behind Welsh Sponge. JK 9.5 off the back of Cam Mackenzie, 10.5 to the good of Isha Yabba Dabba Baddy. As we follow Ed Veer and Welsh Sponge down to Eau Rouge and Radion. This should be very easy for the Aston Martin car up the hill, at the top of the hill. Now with DRS and the slipstream and the overtake, Welsh Sponge in the Aston Martin gets up into P4. And he's got 4.5 seconds now to find on the lone remaining Red Bull of Beaton, who's looking to maximise the damage that did not finish will apply to his championship rival Phoenix Grey's points tally. So too will Adams. Ginaudi has lost 1.3 seconds since the pit stop to Adams. That just goes to show how confident he is on those new soft compound tyres. Cam Mackenzie now already inside striking range of Ed Veer. It's not to say that any of them are going slowly, it is just the supreme pace of the brand new Red Wall tyres and what they can afford you. And now Cam Mackenzie almost eagerly trying to go around the outside at Blanchimont. In fact, that's exactly what he's going to do. Cam Mackenzie round the outside at Blanchimont. Can he get it done on the brakes? No. Ed Veer holds him off. Adams sets a new purple lap. Smalley has lost a position to Moomin Rider. I don't know if there was an issue there for Smalley. Cam Mackenzie, with the help of DRS down the main straight, goes up to P5 as Welsh Sponge sets a new purple lap, and already he's inside 2 seconds of Beaton. That is supreme pace from the Aston Martin car. 12.5 seconds off the lead before you include his penalty. However, can he close down that gap with 18 laps to go? Plenty of time left in the race. Cam Mackenzie, did he make his overtake on Ed Veer too early? Back comes Ed Veer now, looking up the inside. No, backs out of it. Smalley into the pits for Haas. Onto a set of softs. I believe the last of the cars to make a pit stop in this race. Yes, he is. Where will he come out? He'll be looking, I'm sure, to pick up a podium paying position. No, Smalley onto a set of medium tyres. An insurance policy there for Haas. Make sure they get their car to the end, and hope that all those that he was racing, their tyres fall off the proverbial cliff of grip. As Welsh Sponge now inside a second of Beaton. for those watching very quickly, please do say hello in the Twitch chat. Let me know how it's getting on. Now, those of you that, of course, aren't racing are finding the action. Any bold predictions for the rest of the race as Welsh Sponge now looks to make his move on the Red Bull of BT. You can see the better grip. He can just afford to take any line he likes, and just like we saw with Cam Mackenzie a lap ago, down the front straight, Welsh Sponge gets the up and under and is up to P3. That is Smalley in the barrier out of turn 9 just after he makes the pit stop, gets it back underway, but is missing quite a large chunk of his front wing there, and he's down to last. Heartbreak there for Smalley and Haas. That just now puts their hopes of points on Shane Boland, who has left the session due to connection issues. Beaton, with the help of DRS, has got back past Welsh Sponge for P3, and that's going to allow Cam Mackenzie to close the gap back to Welsh Sponge somewhat. Welsh Sponge, though, driving back past Beaton, a little bit rudely getting the elbows out into the turn 8 hairpin, and he's back up into P3 is the Aston Martin car. But here comes Cam Mackenzie now, 1.2 behind. Yellow flag, sector 1. That is for Ryan, who's had an issue going into La Source. Looked like he had to flick spin there on the entry into La Source. That's a very curious place to have an incident. Smalley into the pits for a new front wing. Beaton still sitting behind. Welsh Sponge now has his rear view mirrors full of Cam Mackenzie, who is plenty enough inside a second, as Ortron has got in front of Shane Boland. JK's picked up a 3-second time penalty. And Beaton though still staying inside a second of Welsh Sponge. This may not be a very easy overtake here for Cam Mackenzie when the time comes, but now the better traction, the better drive that the Mercedes has on those much younger soft compound tyres compared to the 20 lap old hard tyres that Beaton is on. Beaton now outside the 1 second window of Welsh Sponge, Cam Mackenzie, and Beaton playing mind games with each other for the DRS on the run down the hill. Let's see who won that particular squabble. It was Cam Mackenzie, who now has the DRS and is gaining and is gaining and is gaining. Beaton goes defensive. Cam Mackenzie sticks the racing line and is up to P4, 1.5 off the back of Welsh Sponge, who is 5.2 now off the back of Ginaldi for that battle. Looking at the penalty count, important now to remember 3 apiece for Ginaldi and Welsh Sponge. That battle will be purely legitimate. 6 for Cam Mackenzie, 3 apiece for Beaton, Edveer, JK, Isha and Moomin Ryder. None for Krytek, Limsky and Ryan. 3 for Ortron, 9 for Shane Boland and 3 for Smalley at the back of the field. None for Adams out in front either. He is driving away just like we saw Paco do last night in the podium division. Cam Mackenzie has got ahead of Welsh Sponge there. Welsh Sponge having an issue somewhere on the run up toward Blanchimont. Cam Mackenzie doesn't need a second invitation. He's up to P3 now, but he does have that 3 second of penalty extra to serve over Welsh Sponge. I know both are in the Twitch chat, both are watching along. They've been interacting with me all through the night so far. Are we going to see some great battling between these two to see out the last 15 laps of the Grand Prix? They've still got 5.5 seconds to find Don Ginaldi if they want to improve their spot and get themselves both onto the podium places. Who else promising much combat lower down the order? Edveer gaining some time here on Beaton. Smalley picking up another 3 second time penalty. Welsh Sponge, Cam Mackenzie swap positions once more. Welsh Sponge back up to P3. Still 5.2 off the back of Ginaldi after whatever that incident was on the run out of Stavolo on this lap, or the last lap I should say. Krytek, Limsky having Ryan about 3 constantly about 3 seconds behind. Won't be upset by that, but very much safe in the knowledge that he is one of 3 cars now without a penalty. One of both Williams and the McLaren off Adams. Beaton falling back, I mentioned it, is definitely falling back into the clutches of Ed Veer. 1.8 now that gap that the RB's behind the Red Bull. Where does the Red Bull pit again off those hard compound tyres? Reminder, been on them for over 20 laps now. As Welsh Sponge Cam Mackenzie once more to the bus stop chicane. Five seconds they are behind Ginaudi. They can see their prey up the road as they make their way around the La Source hairpin. Back down the hill they go and toward Eau Rouge and Blanchimont. The fast and steep incline. And now Cam Mackenzie has the DRS. These two will be wanting to work together to maximise their speed on this straight, and Cam Mackenzie picks up the hunt for P2. 4.2 seconds off the back of Ginaudi they are. Cam Mackenzie knows what it's like to battle the fierce Alpine driver. He'll be preparing himself, so too will Ginaudi. And Welsh Sponge will need to learn the tact. Ed Veer meanwhile has caught up and is in a second now of Beaton. So that battle looking to warm up here in the as we edge towards a conclusion in this Grand Prix. As they come through Campus and Stavelot, I have a look at the Twitch chat, nothing happening there conversation wise. Meanwhile, Welsh Sponge Cam Mackenzie 3 seconds now behind Ginaudi as they make their way up toward the bus stop chicane. Almost every corner, every metre that they go, they gain track and lap time back on him, and I say that, and Ginaudi heads to the pits for Alpine. Those medium tyres couldn't do enough, beaten into the pits as well. Bailed on the battle against Ed Veer. Ginaudi set of softs beaten. I'm sure it will be a set of softs also. No, Ginaudi wants a set of the medium compound tyres. Beaton does take a set of the softs. JK, where will he come out in relation to Ginaudi? There is Ginaudi, there is JK. JK will get in front on the run down the hill, and Ginaudi therefore will have DRS to help him back through. Welsh Sponge has got in front of Cam Mackenzie for P2 now. Ginaudi and JK on the Kemmel straight. Ginaudi with DRS pulling to the outside line, gets the move done. Ginaudi back up into P5. Can he chase down Ed Veer and the 10 seconds on those new medium tyres to get P4 back? Can Beaton chase down JK? Those new soft compound tyres, 6.5 seconds is the gap. He is behind at the moment. And what can Welsh Sponge Cam Mackenzie do? Cam needs to find 3 seconds of track time to finish in front of Welsh Sponge, unless Welsh picks up another penalty in the last 13 or 12 laps, as Adams is very close to the end of this particular lap. Moomin Rider 1.6 off the back of Isha. He has been gaining fairly steadily in his recovery drive after a couple of early incidents. Some rather silly incidents from Moomin Rider. He will admit himself, I'm sure, dropped him well down the order at the start of the Grand Prix. 1.3 seconds now. Looks like P8 will realistically be his best finishing position, but it would be very useful points in the Constructors' battle regardless that McLaren find themselves in. Meanwhile, Cam Mackenzie once more to the top of the hill at Eau Rouge and Blanchimont, has the DRS range and the number of Welsh Sponge, and he's gaining and he's gaining and he's gaining, but he's not gaining enough on this lap. Although he goes defensive, does Welsh Sponge, that puts him a little bit offline. Cam Mackenzie though was indeed too far back to really look for a move into Les Combes. Limsky picks up a 3-second time penalty. That leaves us now with 2 cars yet to pick up a penalty. The leader Adams and the P10 driver Krytek, who has driven very sensibly, very well this race, kept his nose clean and is looking good for points. Edveer is coming back toward these two at a fairly quick rate of knots. Let's have a look quickly and see. Cam Mackenzie, we know, is on mediums, Edveer on hards. Isha picks up another 3-second time penalty. That puts him on 6. And Moomin Rider is now right up the back of the Mercedes of Isha. Cam Mackenzie much closer to Welsh Sponge than he was a lap ago. JK now 3.1 off the back of Ginaudi. Ginaudi 8.2 off the back of Edveer. Beaton 1.7 off the back of JK. That battle is going to be looking fairly tasty in 11 laps time at the close of the Grand Prix. Cam Mackenzie needs a good run here to get past Welsh Sponge. Looks like he's holding his breath a little bit as they come through Eau Rouge and Radion once more. Picking up the DRS, picking up the slipstream. He is much closer than he was this time a lap ago and comfortably gets past yellow flag sector 3. That is where Isha and Moomin Rider are. Isha and Moomin Rider going to the pits. I wonder if there was contact between these two. Let's have a look to see what their pit stops entail. Isha retires. Moomin Rider knows the score here in MSC F1. If first you want to finish first, you must finish. And points, he'll be looking to guarantee himself on a new set of medium tyres and a new front wing. Out into the race he'll come in P11 as Liamski and Ryan, as Krytek, Liamski and Ryan all inherit 2 free points, 2 free positions I should say. And Moomin Rider there getting stopped by the parked up AI of Isha. Has just lost about 15 seconds. Ultron into the pits now for a set of softs, and away he goes. Moomin Rider will be feeling fairly aggrieved about that one, I reckon, as Adams into La Source once more. Lap 35 and 44, 10 to go. Welsh Sponge sitting behind Cam Mackenzie, half a second is the gap. Ginaudi 7.3 off the back of Edveer. JK 4.1 clear of behind Ginaudi. Beaton half a second behind JK. Through the bus stop chicane they come. This battle looking like this will be the battle of battles as Ryan has gained time back here on Ryan. That is now for P9 and 10. And Ortron is right up behind Smalley after that pit stop on this lap. Down the hill comes as Welsh Sponge gets in front of Cam Mackenzie. Down the hill comes JK and Beaton. Back up the hill they go over the crest. That blind crest that is Radion. And opening up the DRS is Beaton, but he's not gaining any time at all on JK. He wants to charge that battery up for a proper attack by the looks of it. As Smalley and Ortron battling it out for P13. Ortron gets the upper hand this time around. Liamski and Ryan, I said those two were getting closer to each other. There is the proof. Liamski in the Williams, Ryan in the Kick Sauber. As they make their way out of the La Source hairpin back toward the hill that ends, would start the endurance lap. Beaton's got in front of JK coming out of Puon into the Fania chicane. We follow Ryan as he gets in front of Liam, Liamski down the Kemmel straight, and Adams takes us onto lap 36 of 44. And Cam Mackenzie still sitting there just up behind Welsh Sponge. Will be getting slightly itchy fingers right about now, I reckon, will the Mercedes driver, if he wants to go away and finish in P2. Edveer 6.2 off the two in front, 5.7 in front of Ginaudi behind. Ginaudi has driven very well this race, making up good time off his starting position in P13. Would love to get Edvir for P4, I am sure. What can Beaton do as well? Can he hold off JK for P6 as Cam Mackenzie gets back in front of Welsh Sponge? 3/10 is the gap. He needs to break that DRS window to have a chance at finishing in P2, or he hopes that Welsh Sponge picks up one more time penalty, because there you see the disadvantage that Cam has in that extra 3-second count. As Ryan and Liamski back down the hill they come, 12.5 to the good of Moomin Rider on those new medium tyres. Can Moomin Rider try and catch the two in front and claim a point from this dogged and miserable race that he has had? Cam Mackenzie has only found 0.6 of a second, 0.7 of a second since he made that overtake pretty much a lap ago now. Adams takes us on to 37. Ortron and Smalley have caught up to Shane Boland, who is under AI control, as you remember. So they will finish P13 and P12 and P13 respectively when that time comes. Adams has just lost a second in this lap to Cam Mackenzie and Welsh Sponge, and Cam Mackenzie, there it is, might have just broken away that 1 second window. Let's have a look at the top of the hill. It's the true teller. Does the letterbox slot in the rear wing of the Aston Martin open up? We need a better camera angle than this. On the elevated helicopter shot going into Les Combes, I don't think it did. I think Cam Mackenzie might have just broken DRS range. Has he now got the battery to put the last 1.8, 1.7 seconds that he needs on to claim P2 in the last 1.7 laps? As Cam Mackenzie definitely has all of a sudden just applied the afterburners, taking another second out of out of Adams in the last half lap or so. Has saved up some energy in those tyres and wants to deploy it all now, and in that battery too. Any other battles going on? No, Liamski's fallen away from Ryan. Moomin Rider's 9 seconds behind those two. That's not done yet, folks. We could see a battle for the points right at the death here, but to catch is one thing, to overtake something completely different. Welsh Sponge 1.4 off the back of Cam Mackenzie. Can Cam find another 1.6 seconds to put Welsh Sponge under pressure, and that 3-second penalty count make it null and void as they make their way out of the bus stop chicane over the start finish straight onto lap 38 of 44. And back through the source they go. And up the hill over East Radion on Welsh Sponge now, 1.7, 1.8 off the back of Cam Mackenzie. Ginaudi 3.8 off the back of Edvir. That one's not done yet, folks. Beaton has dropped JK that gap at 5 seconds now. Where is Moomin Rider? 7.2 off the back of Liamski. So we've had some great battling up and down the race. We've had some DRS swaps. We've had a lot of drama through the race so far, through qualifying too. We even had a lobby reset right at the top, but it's now just bubbling down, as is so often the way in MSC F1. The pressure cooker claims the day, claims the soul, claims action for the last 5 or 6 laps that has been promised and brewed and aged, and it's going to explode if Cam Mackenzie can find that last 1.1 seconds, if Edvir can find another 5, if Moomin Rider can find 6, as he's already now, so yes, 6 seconds off the back of Liamski and the points. And Ginaudi 3 seconds off the back of Edvir now. Welsh Sponge 2.1 from Cam Mackenzie. That gap, he's +8 to the good still That is going to be the gap that the Aston Martin driver worries about now. It's not the on-track gap, it's going to be the gap to 3. And what can Adams just bring that McLaren home? 10.3 to the good, 10.2 to the good. Doesn't want to risk the curbs, doesn't want to really push the car any more than he absolutely has to. As we look to see where is Moomin Rider, 5.3 off the back of Liamski. Liamski 2.2 off MJ Ryan. Krytek sitting there completely on his own, 40 seconds behind the cars in front, 2.5 to the cars behind. JK 8 seconds now behind Beaton, and of course that 37 second gap to those behind. Welsh Sponge plus 0.5 to the good on where he needs to be. Cam Mackenzie 9.8 now off the back of Adams, and pushing hard, locking up into that hairpin. How many times have we seen that from him so far? Moomin Rider now 4.6 off the back of the points paying positions. Ginaudi 2.8 needs to hang in there, needs to find a little bit more time on the RB car. Can he claim P4? Yellow flag, sector 3. Who is that for? It's for the Williams, it might have been, of Liamski, because there is Moomin Rider. That gap's now come hurtling down, the gap at 1.5 seconds. Liamski's made a mistake in the bus stop chicane, got it back underway, but now he's going to be under a huge amount of pressure to hold on to that last championship point. As a reminder, there is no penalty difference between them. It is purely on-track action. Same to the battle with Ginaudi and Edveer if it comes. Cam Mackenzie now 3.5 seconds clear of Welsh Sponge, half a second to the good of his penalty count. Edveer's coming back toward that pair as well. That gap now at 4.3 seconds. Would it be heartbreak for Cam Mackenzie if Edveer gained that time back in the last few laps? Less than five to go now, including this one. Moomin Rider tucked up behind Liamski. McLaren versus Williams. It's like being back in the 1980s as around the outside goes Moomin Rider. Fantastic overtake. He's up to P10. Can he set about? Ryan for P9. 6 seconds the gap. Just about 5 laps to go for this pair. And Ryan's caught Krytek. Krytek's going to come under pressure here right at the end. Those hard compound tyres that are a lap younger than Ryan seem to have betrayed him a little bit. And Ryan 1.3, 1.4 now. I promised you there was going to be some drama. Welsh Sponge 0.8 now off the back of Cam Mackenzie's penalty count. Cam 9 seconds off the back of Adams. Yellow flag in sector 2. That is for Smalley, who has had an issue at the Fania chicane. Has got it back underway. Welsh Sponge and Cam Mackenzie. Cam Mackenzie's had an issue going through Stavolo. Is that a puncture? Was that, I thought I saw for a second? No. Cam Mackenzie, heartbreak from the Mercedes car, had done everything he needed. I was looking away at the Twitch chat. Had done everything he needed to do to go and claim P2, and now he's lost it, and now he's got Edveer and Ginaudi right behind him, and he's got that 6 second of penalty. Can he get the afterburners on and try and get clear of this pair and hold on to a podium position maybe? Needs to find 2.5 seconds. Cam Mackenzie once more to the car behind. He'll be kicking himself. I'm not sure what happened, but it has definitely brought an extra level of drama to the end of the race. Moomin Rider 4 seconds behind Ryan in his charge. Ryan now inside a second of Krytek. Ginaudi 1.7 behind Edveer, and has got some DRS after getting past the lapped Haas car of Shane Bolan. Cam Mackenzie did indeed stay in front of Edveer down the Kemmel Straight, so he has 2.4 seconds to find on the RB. He can say goodbye though to P2. He'll be kicking himself about it unless he can catch 3 seconds and put an 3 back on Welsh Sponge. As he makes his way down toward Piron. Ginaudi now 1.3 behind Edveer. Ryan very much inside a second of Krytek, who has Moomin Rider now just 3 seconds behind. Ginaudi now a second behind Edveer, who's not letting Cam Mackenzie drive away from him whatsoever. As Adams now around the bus stop chicane, he will start his 42nd lap. A lap that equates to the meaning of life. Cam Mackenzie gaining time back on Welsh Sponge. All three of these cars are, as Cam Mackenzie hauls them further forward. But needs to put time on both of them. You can see how hard those tyres are working now. Getting squirrely out of La Source. Ryan's got in front of Krytek going into Pillon. They're still side by side as they come down toward the Fania chicane. Let's have a look at this. Krytek goes around the outside and holds on to P8, but this is just going to bring Moomin Ryder back into the fold. Meanwhile, the battle for P3 on track goes on. Cam Mackenzie goes defensive to the inside of Lecom. Going to come back across and try and squeeze Edveer. Holds on to P3 for the moment. That's going to allow Ginaudi to close that gap in. Krytek held off MJ Ryan. Moomin Ryder's now right there, so we've got 2 3-car battles at either end of the points paying positions, and Welsh Sponge's tyres are going off the cliff here, because here comes Cam Mackenzie now just 1.8 seconds behind the one stopping Aston Martin. He still only has 3 seconds of penalties, but he's going to come under pressure here on track at the end, and if he gets caught by Edveer and Ginaudi, that would be for position. Meanwhile, Adams, there he is, living that solitary life, 13.5 seconds clear of Welsh Sponge behind. Has just over 2 laps to go. Meanwhile, the 3-car battle for P8, Krytek, Ryan, Moomin Ryder at the top of the hill at Radion, now down the Camel Straight. No one close enough there to make a move. Ryan dancing about a little bit in the Williams is wing mirrors, trying to force a mistake, but nothing coming. Beaton momentarily, I believe, caused a yellow flag down at Stavelot, but is back underway. No harm done there. Cam Mackenzie now 2 seconds behind Welsh Sponge. Has Edveer and Ginaudi right behind him. Oh, that was Edveer going to the back of Cam Mackenzie a little bit. That's going to put Ginaudi right behind him. Moomin Ryder's got in front of Krytek. That's down at Pillon once more. Krytek doesn't particularly like that corner. He's lost 2 places through that corner sequence because he was in front as they went into Lecom. Now down the Camel Straight we come. They're 3 abreast. Cam Mackenzie's on the outside. Ginaudi's just slipstream past them both. Cam Mackenzie's lost 2 places in one corner. Now they've both gone deep, the 2 in front. Can Cam Mackenzie try and fight one back? No, he can't now. Ginaudi, can he get the 1.8 seconds to Welsh Sponge and have a go for P2? What a result that would be as JK picks up another 3-second time penalty. Krytek is battling these cars. He doesn't necessarily need to. Moomin Ryder's gone around the outside of Ryan. Krytek has got no penalties. Those in front have at least 3 seconds. Edveer's got back in front of Ginaudi. Ginaudi's gone wide. Cam Mackenzie's got into the barrier on the inside of Pillon. Gets it back underway. Ginaudi giving up a place, however. Gets a little bit of a tap there from Cam Mackenzie, swiping slightly rudely back in front of the Alpine car. Liamski causes a yellow flag briefly in the bus stop chicane. Meanwhile, Moomin Ryder, Ryan and Krytek having a battle as they come through. Cam Mackenzie's had an issue at campus. Stavelot. Krytek goes around the outside of both Ryan and Moomin. He's back up. Moomin Ryder, he's back up into P8. Cam Mackenzie is that a puncture on the back right corner? Trying to have a look. I can't see a puncture, but he's definitely lost a lot more time here in an incident down at Stavelot. He'll be finishing P6 at absolute best now. And Edveer 1.3 behind Welsh Sponge. He's on the final lap. We've got a yellow flag at Pillon. That is because Moomin Ryder, Ryan and Krytek have gone through, and I think Krytek's had an issue because he's broken off a large section of his front wing, but Ryan has given the place up and has gone into the barrier and crashed there. Not sure what that was about, whether he was just being gentlemanly or what, because here comes Liamski now, who may very well just finish in a points paying position with all of the drama that's happened in front of him, as Ryan does indeed retire from the session on the last lap. And Edve's inside 1 second of Welsh Sponge. Can he force a mistake? There's an overtaking zone right in the last corner. There is the leader. There is Adams. He's home and clear now. Cam Mackenzie right up behind Beaton. He wants to try and claim P5 back on the track if he can. As they make their way through turn 9, no name. That Mercedes looks like it's frightfully close to picking up a puncture in the left rear. Meanwhile, however, there has only been one man in control of a good half of this race. It's been Adams. There's a yellow flag. It's Ginaudi down at the Fania chicane. I don't believe it. Here comes Beaton. Here comes Cam Mackenzie. That race isn't done yet. Adams, though, out of the bus stop chicane, wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Welsh Sponge has got Edveer right behind him. Edveer has timed it late. He's going round the outside. He's double front locks up at the bus stop chicane. Can't get it stopped. Welsh Sponge gets it squirrely out of the bus stop chicane, but will just about hang on to P2. Edveer will come home P3. Beaton will come home in front of Cam Mackenzie. Jan Audi should still come home P5. However, thanks to penalty countback from Cam Mackenzie, who crosses the line now, Jan Audi, yes, will indeed finish P5. Now looking at the battle behind Moomin Rider, after whatever happened a lap ago at this very corner, Moomin Rider will come home P8 unless he picks up a 5 seconds, 6 seconds worth of penalties in the last couple of corners. JK's come home P7 in the Aston Martin. It's been a calamitous race here. 2 calamitous races at the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend. But Moomin Rider into the bus stop chicane now. The recovery, he'll be happy with the recovery drive, but he'll be ruining what could have been once more. Moomin Rider will finish P8 and claim 4 points. Krytek around the bus stop chicane now in the Williams. What a drive, sir. Will come home P9. Liam Ski, the last car on track, didn't get lapped, will pick up one more point for the Williams team, making it a haul of 3. And to the line goes Liam Ski. Folks, that has been absolutely breathtaking racing from start to finish. We will wait to see and confirm. Edveer gets the in-game driver of the day. There's a very real chance in my head that it will go to Edveer, my driver of the day as well. Let's have a look at the final classifications, as there is the podium celebrations. James Adams leads on Welsh Sponge and Edveer to the podium. 3 different teams, 3 different constructors on the podium. Adams 6th to 1st, Welsh Sponge 2nd to 2nd, Edveer 10th to 3rd. Didn't get the fastest lap point. That goes to Welsh Sponge on those soft compound tyres. But Edveer keeping his nose clean all through the last 10 laps. Very nearly able to claim a P2 on the road. Will get my driver of the day as a bit of a consolidation point. Folks, I've been sharp. Before I go, I have to give a shout out to Ginaudi for some great racing through that race, and Liamski and Krytek as well. The 2 Williams cars started P18 and 19, both finished in the points, and that will help their Constructors' Championship battle with Kicksauber very nicely. But folks, I've been sharp. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and we're back now in 2025. I'll see you next week for round 9. Thank you so much for watching, but for now, good night and goodbye.
The freight is sitting heavy on my shoulders. The rain is coming down, it's getting colder. Feels like I'm gonna run out of time. saving.